Good morning. Let us start the lecture. Optical Fiber Communication DET 3202. Course outcomes. The students will be able to understand the different communication media, various blocks and applications of optical fiber communication system. Students will be able to understand the optics rules and measure the optical fiber cable parameters. Students will be able to identify suitable optical source for a given application. Students will be able to identify suitable optical detector for a given application. Students will be able to identify suitable connectors and measure the losses in the optical fiber cable. Students will be able to understand architecture of the optical network for given application. So we have started this chapter 5th last 3-4 lectures. So very quickly very fastly we'll go through the previous slides. Fiber and fiber joining and fiber and source joining and fiber coupling and fiber and detector coupling we are dealing with, and the losses due to those, and the other losses in the intrinsic losses in the fiber. So fiber joining is with the fiber splices and demountable connectors. So connectors in general may be either fiber splices, semi-permanent or permanent, and analogous to solder, and demountable connectors or simple connectors. So fiber joints are useful ideally to couple all light propagating one fiber to adjoining fiber. Fiber couplers are branching devices that split or combine all the light between main fiber and two or more fibers. So there may be splitting coupler or combining coupler, splitter or combiner. A permanent joint formed between two individual optical fiber is either in field or in factory. It is to establish a long haul optical fiber links, joints are necessary, and splicing is frequently used where there is no requirement of the repeated connection disconnection. Splices are fusion splicing and mechanical splicing. Two types are there. In fusion case, we know electric arc is used to fuse the fiber and join it permanently. In mechanical splicing, the mechanism is used to hold the two fibers permanently. So in splicing, fiber preparation, end preparation and alignment, these are the two important techniques to optimize the performance, and that reduce the insertion loss. Optimizing performance means reduction in insertion loss, and insertion loss of fiber splices are generally much less than Fresnel reflection, and for Fresnel reflection, reducing Fresnel reflection, the fiber are applied with the matching material, index matching material, and if lenses are there, those are applied with anti-reflective coating. The low loss is achieved in fusion splice. The large step change is not there, and in mechanical splice, index matching material is used. There is difficulty in the process to perform on the field environment, fusion splicing, etc. But in case of fusion splicing, the splicer machine are handheld or portable splicer machines, even those are automatic, are developed nowadays. End preparation is requirement of the splicing to make the end faces smooth and square. Smooth and square means perpendicular to the axis of the fiber. Okay, so that is smooth and square. So perpendicular to the axis of the fiber. In general, the end preparation is achieved using the suitable tool, and process used is scribe and break or score and break. So this is the process. Knife edge is there, and slightly tilted tensed fiber is there. The tensed fiber will propagate the crack which is initiated by the knife edge. Knife edges are used of sapphire, diamond, tungsten carbide blades. The cable is first, the coating is removed, and then they are aligned, and then the junction is formed. The heating is there, and applying sufficient axial pressure to join the fibers. So in fibers are clamped, and there is inspection microscope to adjust the alignment. Then flame eating source are there, argon hydrogen is there, auxiliary microburner are there, oxygen hydrogen alcohol, but electrical arc is most suitable. So this is just the working principle point of view this diagram is, and it shows how the fibers are placed, how the fibers are aligned, how the fibers are pre-fused and then fused, and the accomplishment of the splices there in the 4 steps. Initial setting will be there, arrangement of the smooth surface by pre-fusion is there, then pressed together and applying the heat, and then accomplishing the splice. These are the 4 steps. So basic arc fusion process, which involves the rounding of the end fiber ends. So that's why the pre-fusion avoids the requirement of the fiber preparation, end preparation. So this is the advantage of pre-fusion. In fusion splicing, fibers are typically of core diameter 5 to 10 micrometer, and that presents the problem because the diameters are very small. But lateral offsets in case of fusion splicing, less than 1 micrometer lateral offsets are required to have the very low loss, and splice insertion loss below 0.3 can be achieved due to the self-alignment phenomena. Self-alignment phenomena is the phenomena which helps to align the fiber automatically due to the physics of the material, and that will offer 0.3 dB loss. So this is the self-alignment phenomena, even though there is some lateral misalignment. So this is the lateral misalignment. Okay, one fiber is gone somewhat in this direction, other fiber is gone somewhat in opposite direction. That creates a misalignment, lateral misalignment. And if the fibers are fused in molten state, the fibers get automatically adjusted, aligned due to this surface tension. This force is the surface tension. So this is the surface tension which is causing the self-alignment phenomena. So self-alignment is caused by surface tension. So mean loss of only 0.06 have been obtained with fully automatic splicing machine. So drawback of the splicer is the fracture is generally affect the adjacent fused joint, and reduce the tensile strength is there, surface damage is there in the handling, surface defect growth is there in heated area, and induce residual stresses due to changes in chemical composition. Therefore, due to these drawbacks, the splice is required of packaging to reduce the tensile loading on the fusion spliced joint. So in mechanical splicing, rigid alignment tubes are used. Snug tube splice is used. This is the first type of the mechanical splicer. It is the glass ceramic capillary in which the two fibers. Diode is not there. Fiber. Two fibers are held, and these fibers are applied the epoxy resin for index matching as well as for sealing. Okay, so that it can be protected from the dust and environmental moisture, etc. And it can provide the strength also. Strength provision is there, sealing is there from the dust and moisture, index matching is there. To prepare fiber ends and placing into V-groove, in case of V-groove splices, 2 steps are there. First is to prepare the fiber ends, because in the mechanical case there is no fusion, pre-fusion, so we must prepare the fiber ends and then place into V-groove. These are the 2 steps. Alignment of the prepared fiber ends is achieved through the insertion in the groove. Groove itself is a very highly machined. So whenever the fibers are placed in groove, they are automatically aligned, and this is permanently joined. These are the fiber butted together V groove and flat glass plate which is pressed against the V groove plate. So it is sandwiched the butted fiber in the V groove. V groove splice is not easy to use because in field implementation, because with as compared to fiber geometry, and housing of the splice is in order to avoid additional losses due to the local fiber. V groove splices are proved quite successful by giving very low joint insertion loss 0.1 dB. A variant of V groove is also there, that is called elastomeric splice, and it comprises two elastomeric internal parts, and which is having one of the elastomeric part is having V groove. So this is the assembly of the cross section and assembly of the elastomeric splice. This is the external tube and internal two elastic parts are there. Out of that, one is having V groove to align the fiber, and it is very firmly holding the fiber. Outer sleeve is there to hold the elastic parts, and elastic part is one of the part is having the V groove. Okay. So this splice can offer 0.12 dB and commercially 0.25 dB. Index matching is also used so that it can reduce the loss further. Demountable fibers in general are more difficult to achieve because they are having double job. That is, one is they must maintain the similar tolerance required as the splice in coupling the light, just like the couplers, and also with the same efficiency, and also accomplish the coupling in removable fashion. They frequently dismantled and connected and disconnected, and the same time the tolerance also must be maintained. The connector design must allow the repeated connection disconnection. Repeated connection disconnection leads to degradation of the performance and the degradation of the fiber also. So these are the problems in that. Connector should ideally low cost, obviously, and ease in the optical link is to use. In order to maintain the optimum performance, the connection must be protecting the fiber ends from damage in the connection and insensitive to the environmental factors, that is moisture and dust, and coping with tensile load. Okay, so damage is to be minimized and protection should be there from the environmental factors, moisture, dust, and they should cope with the tensile strength connectors. So connectors are considered in these many applications or areas. The fiber termination is there, connector is used. Fiber end alignment is there, in for coupling, connector is used. And outer shell which maintains the connection and fiber alignment, protects the fiber ends of the environment and provides the adequate strength also. Wherever it is required, it is used. Cylindrical ferrule connector is there. The ferrule is used and cylindrical alignment sleeve is used to hold the fibers, and there are retaining springs are there and connecting shells are there. This assembly, mechanical assembly, is used as the connector. So it is a basic ferrule connector, sometimes referred to as concentric sleeve connector, and it is simplest in the design and use. The cylindrical ferrule connector structure, two fibers connected, they are bonded with epoxy resin, and two fibers be connected are placed in metal plug, and then ferrule are accurately drilled holes, and then due to that fibers are automatically get located, and two ferrules are placed in alignment sleeve and accurately, these are the accurately machined components. Ferrules allow fiber ends to be butt jointed, and ferrules are held in place by mechanism of spring. So essentially that fiber end faces are perpendicular, square. Okay. So one more is there, that is the optical connector. What is optical connector? Expanded beam connector is there, in which the lenses are used. As we know, lenses can collimate the rays beams, and collimated beams can be again refocused. That principle is used. In this case, the lateral and longitudinal misalignments will not affect, and they do not remain the critical. So the source which is radiating a divergent beam can be collected by the this lens, because lens dimension is very large enough to collect all the light. So fiber is in the micrometer, whereas the lens is in maybe in the hundreds of micrometer or few millimeters in the dimension. And the next lens will focus, and one thing is there, that the next fiber must be accurately aligned at the focal point, and for that the mechanism is there for adjusting the lens, for adjusting the fiber. So these are the optical fiber, these are the lenses. So expanded beam connector is alternative connector, and it is alternative connection for direct butt joints between the optical fibers. So there is no requirement of direct butt joints, so they are separated far away, these fibers. Connector consists of two lenses, collimating and refocusing lens, and using interposed optics makes achievement of lateral alignment much less critical, and longitudinal separation between two joints halves are there, so it is also less critical. But it is achieved that lateral and longitudinal loss is reduced to almost nullified almost, and it is achieved with the expense of stringent angular alignment. Angular alignment is very, very stringent, so it is maintained angular alignment. Expanded beam connectors are useful in multi-fiber connection for PCB and edge connection for PCB, and printed circuit board where the lateral and longitudinal alignment are frequently difficult to achieve. Okay, all these situations the expanded beam connectors are used. See, one of the type of the expanded beam connector where the circular spherical macro lenses are there, and anti-reflective coating is applied, and it is having almost 2 mm, 2.5 mm diameter, as compared to the fiber which is of very less dimension 50 micrometer core, and this is 2.5 millimeter diameter, and then it exhibits almost 1 dB loss or 0.7 dB loss if application of the anti-reflective coating is there. So this is quite good solution for the alternative for the butt joint fiber joints. Again, the anti-reflective coating lenses average losses around 0.7 were obtained using the single mode fiber of 0.8 micrometer core diameter. So this is for 50, and for 8 also again same can be achieved with this joint. So a successful single mode fiber connector is achieved with much smaller diameter, 0.25 millimeter, that is 250 micrometer diameter. So it is 10 times lesser. Sapphire ball lens is used for the expanded beam connector. In this case, the losses range from 0.4 to 0.7 dB. So this is one more alternative for the expanded beam connector. Instead of two different lenses which become difficult to adjust, single lens is used. Okay, lens alignment sleeve is there, ferrule is there, and the grommet and springs are there to adjust all these optical parameters. So this in general the beam connector employs the molded spherical lens, in this case molded spherical lens, plastic molded spherical lens, and fiber is positioned approximately focal length to apply the to obtain the collimated beam, that is lens to lens longitudinal misalignment effect is not there. Lens to lens alignment sleeve is used to minimize the effect of angular misalignment also. So this helps in the fulfilling the angular misalignment condition. Together with ferrule, grommet, spring, external housing, we can adjust the angular reduce the angular misalignment to align it. Repairability of this is straightforward lens design was found to be good, incurring losses of 0.7 dB. Okay. Relatively straightforward it is. Then let us start the green rod lenses. Okay, green rod lenses. What do you mean by green rod lenses? Green means graded index. So GR and IN. Okay, GR and IN, graded index rod lenses. So just like the fiber of say 10 micrometer, 50 micrometer, 100 micrometer, 150 micrometer, 200 micrometer fiber are there. Similarly, rod is created, or piece of the square or rectangular piece of the graded index fiber like conductive, optically conductive devices there, and that is called as green rod lenses. Because its dimension is quite large as compared to fiber, all the misalignments, longitudinal, lateral, even angular, can be overcome. You will become less critical. Okay, because it is having very large dimension, it can cover all the light from the fiber. And how the graded index fiber, the graded index rod lens is working, is utilized, that will check. There is a fiber, there is a green rod lens which is of having maybe 100 times more diameter. So this is green rod lens, and it is having its pitch 25. This is of 0.25 pitch. As we know, graded index fiber, it is having suppose near parabolic refractive index profile. Then whatever the ray, light ray is propagating in that fiber, it follows the sinusoidal path. That we know, isn't it? So whatever the ray which is traveling in the graded index fiber, that follows the sinusoidal path. So this is one wavelength, this is half wavelength, this is 0.25 wavelength, quarter wavelength, this may be 0.29 wavelength, this may be 0.23 wavelength, isn't it? So this wavelength is called pitch. Okay, so complete one pitch means one wavelength, half pitch means 0.5 pitch means half wavelength, 0.25 means quarter wavelength. Okay, 90 degree phase shift. So whenever the graded index fiber is cut into this piece, this will become green rod lens. Whenever graded index fiber is cut into this much piece, this also becomes green rod lens. First lens will become 0.25 pitch, second lens will become 0.5 pitch. Isn't it? We can cut here 0.929, we can cut here 0.23, we can cut here 0.24, we can cut here 0.30, and so on. 0.45, 0.37, whatever pitch we require. So in this case, whenever a fiber is radiating the optical beam is having divergence like this, and this diverged beam will be following in this particular refractive this graded index material a sinusoidal path. And as this is suppose 0.25 pitch, so it starts from the source and changes its direction for 90-degree phase. Okay, so almost a quarter part of the sinusoidal it completes, and it emerges out, radiated from the green rod lens. So it becomes a collimated parallel beam. Okay, it becomes parallel beam, and there may be small angle alpha which is called divergent angle. There is divergent angle possible in this case. So this is the operating principle of green rod lenses. Formation of collimated output beam is shown. Similarly, from collimated output beam, if one more lens is placed in front of that, it can be refocused again. If after this collimating lens, one more lens of 0.25 is placed, then that one more lens of 0.25 will again refocus the beam. Okay, this is the reverse process. So in green rod lenses, these are the alternative lens geometry. Again, to the expanded beam connector is there. It is alternative to that, alternative lens geometry. It is also lens based to facilitate the efficient beam expansion and collimation and within expanded beam connectors. Okay. So this expansion and collimation is within the lens, and in case of expanded beam connectors, collimated and expanded beams are in free space. So here we can immediately connect one more lens. So there is no any free space which is coming to picture. So from fiber directly to the second lens, from first lens, and from first lens directly to the second lens, and that will again refocus this, and this refocused beam can again connect it to the fiber. Okay, so there is no air gap, just like the expanded beam connector, isn't it? So alternative lens geometry is there to facilitate efficient beam expansion collimation within the expanded beam connector, within itself. Okay, it is inside the expanded beam connector, collimation and refocusing, it is within. And sometimes if you cut the slight portion, and if it means it will become 0.23 or 0.29, then some portion may go into free space also, but most of the part is within the connector. That will check in it can go into free space also, and we can place the lenses slightly apart also. What is the drawback with this is that also we will see, because we have to butt joint the fiber with the lens. Okay, because focal point is slightly on the exactly on the surface of the lens. So made up of graded index lenses, green rod lenses. Okay, these lenses are made up of graded index lens, and these are having focusing properties of such micro lens devices, and also enable as in application in both fiber couplers and source to fiber coupling and fiber to detector coupling, etc. Okay, so fiber to fiber is there, fiber couplers is there, then second is source to fiber is there, then detector to fiber to detector is also there. It can be used in all the applications. So it is emerged from development of graded index fiber waveguides. So whenever the graded index fiber waveguide is developed, it is emerged from that. It comprises a cylindrical glass rods typically of 0.2 to 2 millimeter. So it is quite large dimension as compared to fiber. Suppose fiber is 200 micrometer, so it is 10 times, isn't it? Or if fiber is 10 micrometer, it is 100 times. So it will cover all the light from fiber. So exhibiting a parabolic refractive index profile with a maximum at axis is similar to graded index fiber. So graded index fiber is also having refractive index maximum at the axis. So this is also having just like it is nothing but the graded index fiber. It is also having maximum refractive index at the axis, and it is a parabolic refractive index. Parabolically, refractive indexes go on reducing towards the end. So green rod lenses have light propagation through lens, and it is determined by lens dimensions and wavelength of the light. Okay. How the light will propagate is determined by two things. One is lens dimension and second is wavelength of the light which is propagating, lambda. Because the refractive index is the wavelength dependent parameter. Refractive index is wavelength dependent parameter. So it depends on wavelength of the light. So lens dimension may be 0.25 pitch, 0.23 pitch, 0.29 pitch or 0.50 pitch, okay, 0.37 pitch, 0.40 pitch and so on. So it depends on the lens dimension. So 0.25 pitch means its dimension is 25% of the total wavelength, and 0.50 pitch means its dimension will be 50% and so on. A graded index, the green rod lens can produce a collimated output beam. Green rod lens can produce a collimated output beam, parallel output beam with a divergent angle alpha between 1 to 5 degree. Divergent angle may be offered in between 1 degree to 5 degree from a light source situated on or near to the opposite lens face. It may be situated on the face or near to the face. It depends on the which dimension lens we are using. Conversely also, green rod lens can focus just like the collimation is there. Conversely also, in the reverse way, the green rod lens can focus an incoming light beam onto a small area. It can focus also into a small area at a center of the opposite lens face. Just like it is making parallel beam, it can make parallel to focus the beam also. And typically light is launched from 50 micrometer diameter fiber using the green rod lens, result collimated beam between 0.5 to 1 mm. Then refractive index variation with radius therefore causes all input rays to follow sinusoidal path through lens medium. Okay. Refractive index variation with the radius, therefore it causes the variation is along with the radius, therefore it causes all the input rays to follow sinusoidal path through the lens medium. So traversion of one sinusoidal period is termed one full pitch, isn't it? One complete sinusoidal period is one full pitch. It is called one full pitch. And green rod lenses are manufactured with several pitch lengths. Okay, different pitch lengths, several different pitch lengths. Variety of the pitch lengths are there. Out of these, three major pitch lengths very frequently used pitch lengths are quarter pitch, that is 0.25 pitch lengths, 0.23 pitch lengths and 0.29 pitch lengths. Okay. So these are the three which is used. Okay. 0.25, 0.23, 0.29. So let us check the figure of operation of various green rod lenses. In that the quarter pitch length, that is quarter pitch length is 0.25 pitch length. So its length is 0.25 p. Therefore, it can collect the divergent beams from the source at its focal point, which is exactly on the surface, and this beam will be traveling sinusoidally and become collimated beam after emerging from the lens. When it is coming out from the lens, there is a collimated beam generation. Also, if collimated beam is given as the input to the lens having the same 0.25 pitch, that collimated beam will become sinusoidally travel it and become focused beam. So this will focus at the focal point, which is again on the surface. So focal points are always in the surface. So 0.25 green rod lens is having the focal point on exactly on surface, and it can collimate the beam whenever there is a source on the focal point, and it can refocus the beam if the collimated beam is inputted to the lens. But the point is, the focal point are exactly on the surface, and for that we have to very exactly put the source on the surface, and source is nothing but one fiber end, or maybe the source laser and LED surface. So the quarter pitch 125 pitch lens produces a perfectly collimated output beam when input light emanates from the point source on the opposite lens face. Okay. So it produces perfectly collimated output whenever there is a point source, it emanates exactly on the opposite lens face. So whenever opposite lens face the source is there, opposite to that face there is a output of collimated beam. Conversely also, lens focuses incoming collimated beam. If one side is having incoming collimated beam, opposite side will produce a beam to point at the center of opposite face lens. That is the focused. Okay, lens focuses the incoming collimated light. Thus, the focal point of the quarter pitch lens is coincident with lens faces, exactly on the lens faces, coincident, and providing efficient direct butt connection to the optical fiber. Direct butted connection. That means there should not be any air gap in between. Okay, butt joint is maintained. So it may become difficult to maintain the butt joint. There may be producing the gap in between the lens and fiber, fiber and lens, lens and lens. So to overcome that, a green rod lens 0.23 pitch can be used, where the focal point of this lens is outside the lens. It is not on surface of the lens, it is outside the lens. So there is not maintenance of the exactly maintaining zero gap. The exact zero gap is not required to maintain. So very easily you can put the fiber away from the lens and applying the pressure on the fiber to remain with the zero gap is not required. So this is the lens having 0.23 pitch, 0.23 p lens. Pitch is 0.23. So this is 0.23 pitch lens. It is a fiber. Fiber is having the diverging beam. Beam is divergent. So as compared to this 0.23 p, this distance is very small, and during this distance beam may get diverged and may acquire the area in few tens of the micrometer, but lens is hundreds of micrometer large, so lens will very easily cover all the diverged beam, and all the diverged beam is sinusoidally traveling into the green rod lens, and then it become collimated beam. So collimated beam can be obtained. Okay, so this is the 0.23 pitch lens which making the collimated beam. Special is that the focal point is outside the lens, and that's why the assembly of this lens fiber is easier as compared to 0.25 pitch. Similarly, it can be converted into focal lengths. Okay, so very same, whenever the parallel rays are coming, and then it is incident on 0.23 lens. Okay, so this will be 0.23 lens, and they are emerging as the focused ray outside the outside the lens, and very easily we can adjust here the optical fiber to launch the light in it. So there may be a distance which can be maintained, and in this way 0.23 pitch lens helps easy assembly as compared to 0.25 pitch lens. The 0.23 pitch lens is designed such that focal point lies outside the lens when collimated beam is projected on opposite lens face. Okay, so the focal point lies outside the lens. Focal point lies outside the lens. It is often employed to convert diverging beam from the fiber or laser diode into the collimated beam. Okay, to convert laser diode output into collimated beam, this type of lenses are often used. Okay, so if we are having the laser diode source, then that laser diode source is having the source point at the surface of the junction, or the, we can call it as a semiconductor material surface, and there will be sealing, maybe glass sealing, hermetically sealed devices there. Then it is having the gap in between the surface and that. So we must have focal point gap in between the lens and source. So very easily we can use this gap to place the laser diode source exactly. Similar is that for the detector on the opposite side. So it is often employed to convert diverging beam from a fiber or laser diode into collimated beam. Okay? Because the focal point lies outside, it becomes easier to assemble. So 0.25, 0.23 requires two different lenses for collimation and refocusing. Two lenses are required. One is for collimation, other for refocusing. But both can be achieved with the single lens, and that is green rod lens with 0.25 pitch. So 0.25 pitch lenses are there which has both properties of collimation and refocusing. So this is the source, this is the focal point which is outside the 0.29 pitch lens. 0.29 pitch lens outside the 0.29 pitch lens, there is a source because it is a focal point, and this source will have a divergent beam radiated, but the lens dimension is sufficient to cover all that diverged beam, and it collects all the optical light without loss, and then sinusoidally that is curved to refocus. After collimation, it is again curved to refocus, and the beam emerges out and get focused at next focal point. It get focused at next focal point where we can put the fiber for joining or launching the light. So in this way, source to fiber we can launch the light or couple the light. We can couple the light. Here in place of source, laser diode, LED diode, we can put the another fiber. So this fiber is acting as a source because fiber end also emits the light. So fiber also can become a source. So source can be either fiber or the light emitting diodes and lasers. Okay, source may be anything. Fiber is also a source. So one fiber and other fiber can be joined. LED or laser and fiber also can be coupled. So this is the operation of the 0.25 pitch lens. Okay. So in 0.25 pitch lenses, the 0.25 pitch lens is designed such that both focal points lies just outside the lens and end faces. It is frequently used to convert a diverging beam from a laser diode into converging beam. Hence, it proves useful for coupling output from laser diode into optical fiber, or alternatively for coupling output from optical fiber into photodetector. So from laser diode to optical fiber, or from optical fiber to photodetector, or maybe it can be used for fiber to fiber. Okay. For joining fiber to fiber, there are alternative couplers are there, connectors are there. But if we want to join, we can join it. But basically they are used for coupling source to fiber and also fiber to detector. So what is the use is, it converts diverging beam from laser to converging beam. So this is divergence, going away from each other, and this is convergence, they are coming together, getting focused. So if the laser source is there, it outputs the photons in all the direction. Even though we are calling it as laser as a directional device, always there is a photon beam have some divergence. At the source, if the divergence angle is suppose very small fraction, less than 1 degree, 0.1, 0.5 degree, etc., 1 degree, but with the distance it goes on increasing, isn't it? So diverging beam can be converged or focused. That is the use of this lens. Okay? 0.29 pitch lens. So these are the three pitch lenses, three green rod lenses. One is 0.25 pitch, one is 0.23 pitch and 0.29 pitch. Naturally, first they have developed the 0.25 pitch lens, but in those cases the focal points are exactly on the face, and that's why the connecting the fiber or source maybe becoming slightly difficult, and for that purpose 0.23 pitch and 0.29 pitch are useful, because 0.23 pitch is having outside, the focal point is outside the green rod lens, but 0.25 is having two we can say points or drawbacks. That one is focal point is exactly on the surface, and second is two lenses are required simultaneously. 0.23, one drawback is removed, that is focal point on the surface is not required, it is outside the lens, but again two lenses are required. In 0.29 both are removed, the focal points are outside the surface, outside the lens, and single lens is required for the focus. So in this way there is development of the lenses. So similar to these lenses, the majority of the green rod lenses which have diameters in range of 0.5 to 2 millimeter may be employed with either single mode or multi-mode step or graded index fiber. That means it can be employed with single mode fibers, it can be employed with multi-mode fibers, it can be employed with step index fiber, it can be employed with graded index fiber. For all the fibers, all four types of the fibers, it can be employed, and it can range from 0.5 mm to 2 mm, which is very large dimension as compared to fiber. As we know, the 0.25 pitch, 0.23 pitch, 0.29 pitch lenses we have seen just now. The various fractional pitch lenses are available, including those above, that is 0.25, 0.23, 0.29, including those. 0.5 p is also there, 0.75 p is also there, and it is obtained from the Nippon Sheet Glass Company Limited under the trade name is self-focusing. Okay. Similarly, the Green rod lenses are available with the numerical aperture 0.37, 0.46 and 0.6. Okay, so various numerical aperture lenses are also available, just like the optical fiber. This is nothing but the optical fiber. It is the piece of the optical fiber. So 0.25, 0.23, 0.29 pitch is there, 0.5, 0.75 pitch is also there, and variety also there. And again the numerical aperture may vary 0.37, 0.46, 0.6, etc. So this is the green rod lenses, and a number of factors cause divergence of collimated beam from green rod lenses. Okay. Number of factors cause divergence of collimated beam from green rod lenses. That means we are calling at the green rod lens is collimating the beam. Okay, so beam is collimated, we can say beam is collimated, but this collimation in the beam is having slight divergence, alpha angle 1 degree, fraction of 1 degree, etc. Isn't it? So this collimation is caused by the factors, some of the factors 1, 2, 3. Okay, even though we are calling it as a, it is giving output as a divergent, it is giving output as a collimated beam, but there is a slight divergence of collimated beam from the green rod lenses, and these are due to these factors: errors in the lens cut length, errors in the lens cut length, that is the manufacturing tolerance may be there, manufacturing tolerance, very slight change in the dimension may be there. Second, finite size of the fiber core, finite size of the fiber cores. Fiber cores are having finite size, very small size, and chromatic aberration, okay, optical phenomenon. As divergence angles are as small as 1 degree, okay, divergence angles, as we have seen 0.25 figure. Suppose this is the diverged collimated beam. Okay, so it should come as parallel beam, but it comes as a diverged beam, and this divergence angle is alpha. Okay, and this alpha is of the order of 1 degree or less than 1 degree, or it is, as it is mentioned in the previous slide, 1 degree to 5 degree. Okay, so divergence angle as small as 1 degree may be obtained, which yields expanded beam connector losses around 1 dB. For divergence angle of very small 1 degree alpha, the loss may be around 1 dB. Okay. Then the couplers, fiber couplers, we can check. All these are the connectors. Till now we have seen all connectors. What are the different types of connectors? The ferrule connector is there, cylindrical ferrule connector. Then the optical connectors are there, expanded beam connectors. In that, two lenses are there, single lens is there, molded single lens is there, expanded. Then green rod lenses are there. So these are the connectors. So connectors are to connect one fiber to other fiber, to connect source to fiber, to connect fiber to detector. But to share the optical signal from one fiber to multiple fibers, and from multiple fibers to one fiber, the couplers are required. Connectors are required to connect the optical signal or optical fiber from one fiber to other fiber, from one source to other source to fiber, from fiber to detector. But from one fiber to multiple fiber and multiple fiber to one fiber, connection sharing is done with the couplers. So these are called couplers. Two types of the couplers are there. One is splitter and other is combiner. And where it will be useful? It will be useful in the Optical networks, because networks require sharing of the signal. We are having LANs, we are having star topology, hybrid topology, ring topology, and so many. So there we require these couplers. Then there are large trunk networks. Then from trunk network we have to connect the stations. From stations we have to connect the subscribers and so on, where everywhere the couplers are required. Then optical fiber coupler is a device that distributes the light from main fiber into one or more branch fibers. Optical fiber coupler is a device that distributes light from main fiber into one or more branch fibers. So it is for distributing the light. The multiple fiber distribution is more normal, and such devices are known as multi-port fiber couplers. So multi-port fiber couplers it is called, because it is multiple fiber distribution. The requirement are increasing for use of these devices to divide or combine optical signals for the application within optical fiber information distribution systems. Optical fiber information distribution systems, that means optical networks. Optical fiber information distribution systems, that means optical networks. In optical network, information is get distributed from one fiber to multiple fibers. From multiple fibers it can be combined. So this is information distribution system. Okay, optical information distribution system. Then optical fiber information distribution system have applications, and optical fiber information distribution system have applications such as data buses, LANs, computer network, telecommunication access networks, etc. Data buses means the trunk network is there, which is carrying all the load of very large states. Okay, from Maharashtra to Goa, from Delhi to Mumbai, from Mumbai to Delhi to Kolkata, from Kolkata to Chennai, Chennai to Bangalore, Bangalore to Mumbai, Mumbai to Pune, etc. So these are the trunk networks, data buses. LANs are there. In one city there may be a network which we call metropolitan city MAN, or in one building, one campus like university campus or industry campus, there may be LANs. So these LANs are can be made of optical fibers. So data buses will be there, LANs will be there. Computer networks are there within the laboratory. Computer networks are there within the industry, within the IT industry. Computer network are there. Telecommunication access networks are there. Telecommunication access network. Nowadays the internet connectivity etc. are having optical fiber usage, isn't it? Mobile networks are using the optical fibers along with the satellite, along with the macro links, isn't it? Many companies are laying down very large network of optical fibers undersea, on the ground, underground. Okay, so all the telecommunication applications require telecommunication access network. So telecommunication access network also using the optical fibers, and then there the couplers are needed. So where the couplers are needed? Data buses, LANs, computer networks, telecommunication access networks, because all these networks are having one fiber to multiple fiber to one fiber applications, data sharing applications. So optical fiber information systems like data buses, LANs, computer networks, telecommunication access networks all requires the optical fiber couplers. These are the applications of the optical fiber couplers. These are the situations where the optical fiber couplers are needed and used. So what are the couplers? Optical fiber couplers, they are the devices those distribute the light from main fiber into the one or more branches. Okay. The coupler is the device that distributes the light from main fiber into one or more branch fibers. So multiple fiber distribution is there, and that called as multiple fiber couplers. Requires the couplers, and that is called multi-port fiber couplers. And this requirement is increasing day by day because the optical fiber information distribution system is growing day by day. And optical fiber information systems are having applications of data buses, LANs, computer networks, telecommunication access networks, etc. So these are the optical fiber couplers. So optical fiber coupling is having basically two types. Okay, so there is a classification of optical fiber couplers based on power transfer method, how the optical power is transferred from one fiber to other fiber. So first is core interaction type and second is surface interaction type. Okay, so what is there in the core interaction type? From one fiber core to other fiber core, there is a optical energy or optical power interaction is there, power transfer is there. This is called core interaction. Okay. And in figure B it is shown surface interaction. From one fiber surface and the power is exchanged, okay, transferred to other fiber surface, and then it goes into the propagation in the core. So this is surface interaction. For that, the cladding of that particular part, both the fibers must be removed. It is removed and the fusion joint will be created there. So this type of the devices are there. So two types of the coupler principles are there. Two types of the coupling principles are there. Two types of the couplers are there. One is core interaction and other is cladding interaction, surface interaction. Surface interaction. Core interaction and surface interaction. These are the two types of the couplers, or we can say classification of optical fiber couplers based on power transfer method. How the power get transferred, based on that these are the types, and there are more types based on other also. So we'll check this in detail about the couplers in the tomorrow's lecture. So please solve the quiz which is allotted yesterday, and today also I will allot one or two quiz after this lecture. Solve all these quiz because it is having the time limit also, and while solving the quiz please first the quiz is attempted and then return from your classroom. After attempting the quiz, return the your assignment. Do not return the assignment first and then attempt the quiz. Okay, it is creating the problem of importing your marks into your account, and attempt your quiz from your classroom classroom email ID, which is attached or connected to the classroom, which you have joined the classroom. Whatever the email you have used, same email probably you have to use. Okay, so hope those who are having not retrieved their marks, they can check whether they have returned the quizzes, previous quizzes, etc. Return the quizzes. Okay. If you have solved, then it may be possible to retrieve your marks. So there will be your end semester exam coming soon. Okay, one important part I have to mention that remained. So please be attentive. There is a end semester examination coming closer, and there is a end of the semester which is also coming closer, and you have to complete your practicals. And I don't think there is up to 15 June there will not be any possibility of conducting practicals physically, and thereafter also it may not be seen possible. If it is becoming possible, we can perform it physically. Otherwise, let us have some alternative online informative system. So I hope you all have prepared the write-up of the journal. Journal is shared with you at the start of the semester, isn't it? Journal is shared with you in the January 21 also. So February or January. In January also journal is shared. You check on the classroom. Write it immediately, because only 10-15 days are remaining for submission of the journal. Within this 10-15 days you have to complete the journal, and whatever the readings etc. has to be taken, I will share the method how to take the reading, etc. How it can be shared, we'll check it out. We'll have some solution on that. Okay, so be ready with your journal. Write it on the pages. PDF is provided, very ready-made PDF is provided. Just you have to prepare the manuscript, write the journal onto the pages very neatly. And there is 1 week or 2 weeks to complete all this. We have to complete the syllabus, and you have to complete the writing of the journal, and we have to complete then the practicals. And then you are having end semester examination, which is coming to closer in this month only. Second week or third week, the end semester exam will be there held, most probably. Okay, so timetable will be declared in this week or next week, maybe tomorrow too, or this week. Okay, so please be ready for all the subjects. Okay? For optical fiber communication, prepare the journal. You might have prepared also. Make ready the journal, and how to take the reading, I will show you, or you can go for the physical practicals, but it seems very less probable physical practicals. Okay, ठीक है. So be prepared for the examinations, practical submission examinations, and this one theory submission examinations, end semester examinations, and for all the subjects. And for projects, what you are doing for projects, I do not understand. Nobody is approaching to teach guides, so it becomes difficult to purchase the component, collect the component. You have not even discussed the project. Have you discussed it? Anybody? Please comment. So you are not discussing the project. It is the end semester arrived, and it is difficult for physical project component procurement. How many of you don't know how procure a component? There is no single communication on project group of WhatsApp. WhatsApp group is there on project. No single communication is there. No doubt, no difficulty, no consciousness about the project. Maybe personal 1 or 2 messages to any teacher may be there. So be prepared for the project. Now it becomes difficult to carry out large projects. and with the components, etc. So our strategy will be individual projects you have to do, individual projects, small projects, and that too majorly with simulation. You have to submit the simulation. If it is possible with you are having already, you are having the components, then you can go for the hardware implementation. But this time projects will be simulation based, just like the previous semester. Previous semester also simulation projects were there, but simulation projects cannot be done for 4 or 5 students in a group. They are very simple and small, so individually you have to do simulation projects. Individually you have to do, so go for the individual projects. Okay, so I think regarding term work submission projects and end semester examination, regarding optical fiber also we are if you are having any doubt, you can ask anytime. Okay, thank you. We will meet tomorrow. I am stopping this and we will meet tomorrow. Thank you.